Good evening and welcome to the interactive Grimoire. Tonight's question, what is the negative confession? The negative confession is one of the oldest moral statements made in writing by humankind. Chapter 125 of the Poeta Meru, more commonly known as the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the negative confession represents a statement on the part of the believer of their moral purity. It must be understood in discussing anything about Egyptian religion that very much like modern paganism, it was extremely variable. Ideas and writings varied by region and sometimes by personal choice. Thus, the several copies which exist of the negative confession are not identical. They vary in several details, sometimes including the number of items listed, though 42 is the standard number of lines. Most English translations that you will see of the negative confession appear in the past tense. This is in the belief that it is the spirit speaking in the afterlife of things they did while they were living. However, the actual hieroglyphs are not necessarily in the past tense, and can, and I believe should, be read in the present tense, which is the form of the negative confession we will share with you this evening. It is important to understand that unlike similar moral statements of the day, such as the Law Code of Hammurabi or of Ur-Nammu, or the Judeo-Christian Ten Commandments, the negative confession is not a list of commandments from the deity to the worshipper, but rather is a list of affirmations from the worshipper to the deity, extolling the worshipper's own moral worth, and conscious choice to engage in a proper lifestyle. This is a very significant difference, for it represents the difference between internal moral guidance versus obedience to external moral guidance, and it reminds us how spiritually sophisticated the ancient Egyptians really were. And now, let us hear the negative confession so that its words may speak for itself.
I do not do wrong. I do not rob by violence. I do not steal by stealth. I do not kill people. I do not pilfer holy offerings. I do not take other people's stores. I do not speak harshly. I do not cheat people. I do not abuse others sexually. I do not cause weeping. I do not eat my heart out with regrets. I do not attack others openly. I do not attack others with deceits. I do not encroach upon other people's lands. I do not spy on other people's businesses. I do not slander others. I do not become angry without just cause. I do not practice adultery. I do not commit acts of ritual impurity. I do not tyrannize over others. I do not break the law. I am not hard-hearted. I do not refuse to hear the truth. I do not blaspheme the gods. I do not bully others to get my way. I do not stir up trouble. I do not act harshly. I do not raise my voice. I do not use my words falsely. I do not take what belongs to the gods. I do not take other people's livestock. I do not extinguish a flame when it should burn. I do not pollute flowing water. I do not stop the flow of water. I am not arrogant. I do not gossip. I do not make others go hungry. I do not cheat widows. I do not take food from the mouth of babes. I do not violate holy days. I do not seek honors for their own sake. I do not neglect my gods. I am pure, I am pure, I am pure.
And that was the negative confession, one of the earliest moral statements of humankind. Please join us next time in the interactive